good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you all, the good and wonderful people of the tube. What's your finger out in the world? I don't know what this is. It's like summoning some kind of god. The orange god, people of the tube. Today we are looking at these three fantastic machines here that I've spat on there. That's gross. Anyway, sorry Orange. Orange very kindly sent me these for review, and they're just a bit good, you know, just a tiny, weeny, grain-sized piece of amazingness is these. I absolutely love them. They are... Orange aren't getting them back. It's as simple as that. They're just not getting back. These are mine now. If you want them, Orange, you have to come and fight me for it, but I'll be ready for you. Anyway, what have we got? Jewel Baby at the top here. That's the one you heard in the intro jam. That's actually my favourite. The Jewel Baby is kind of like... If out of all these three, my favourite is the Jewel Baby. It's just a beast. I love it to bits. Not to say these two aren't beasts, but there's something about this one that I love even more than these two. So Jewel Baby on top, that's one you heard in the intro jam. That's one I'll show you again in a bit. Then down here you got the Tor Baby and you've got the Gain Baby. These are all 100 watt solid state amps, which makes me very happy indeed because I love 100 watt amps and I love solid state amps. And they're just monsters. They're little monsters. They're tiny, they're compact, they don't weigh much. Orange job's a good one. It really is. So let's talk about each individual one. Let's start with the Jewel Baby. So like I say, Jewel Baby has channel A and channel B. Channel B has more distortion. If you're going straight in, I'll show you this in a bit. Channel A is a little bit cleaner. Not a great deal, but it still will clean up. I'm using it totally clean for my pedal board at this point in time. The EQ and kind of control steps are mirrored on each channel. So you have gain, volume, presence, bass, middle, treble. So same thing on this side. The things that differ are on channel A, you have a little switch here that's called Tubby, a Tubby switch. Basically, it just increases the low end. As my sound is quite dark and heavy, I don't really need that, so that just stays out, but I will show you it. And on the channel B, you've got a tight switch, but which basically kind of, I would say, adds kind of a bit more kind of treble to it. You know, it tightens up kind of the sounds, I'd say. Think Adam Jones of Tool. That's kind of what that does. So that's the front panel of that one. On the back, you've got effects loop, you've got speaker out, you've got emulated, not emulated line out, should I say. It's there is a DI out on this, XLR DI out, and it's not emulated. So, people tube today, at some point later on in the video, we're going to see what that sounds like with my pedal board and see if having no IR, what it actually sounds like. It might sound terrible, but we're going to find out either way. I think that's everything that's on the back, isn't it? You got foot switch as well, so you can channel switch from A to B if you want. So you can set up kind of like however you want, and yeah, that's your lot. You do have a ground lift on the DI as well, which is always good. But that's it. It's everything you really need. They don't have, none of these amps have reverb though. Bear that in mind. I do feel, I understand why Orange didn't put it in, but I do feel it kind of missed a trick. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think having a digital reverb in there, like they do in the CR120 or the Super Crush, would have just, you know, I understand why they didn't put it in, but I think it would have been better if they did. People of the tube, what do you reckon on that one? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's not the end of the world. All the reverb you'll be hearing today from these amps comes from, well, when you hear my pedal board, it'll come from the Zoom. When we go straight into them, you won't hear any reverb whatsoever. So yeah, so that's the Jewel Baby. So let's talk about the Tor Baby now. So the Tor Baby and the Gain Baby are pretty much identical. They, again, both 2-channel amplifiers. You got a clean channel and you got a dirty channel. Same kind of layout. So on the clean channel, you have a volume, treble, bass, and a compressor here, which I have thoughts on. And then you've got a dirty channel here with gain, volume, foot switch volume, so you can have a volume boost if you want. You can actually kind of set your master volume and set your foot switch volume to louder, so you can actually have a volume jump for solos, which is super cool. More amps should do 2 volumes, they really should. Presence, bass, middle, treble. So you've got 4-band EQ on all these, and it's exactly the same over here as well. The only difference is on the Gain Baby, which is here, you have a tight switch, which again just tightens up the low end, makes everything just a bit more like that. Less flubby in the bottom, so to say. which is what I try to be on a daily basis. Anyway, bottom humour aside, is there anything else to say? Oh no, they're all the same on the back as well, I believe. Let me just double check. I'm questioning myself. Yeah, they're all the same on the back. The only difference is that to the Dual Baby is these two also have an extra foot switch out for the volume boost, the foot switch second volume. So you can have like a foot switch for channel changing, and you can also have one for the volume boost. The Game Baby does not have the volume boost. The Dual Baby, sorry. So, is there anything else to talk about? I don't think there is. The compressor's a weird choice on the clean channel. I understand why it's there. Gives you really kind of it can really give you really cool kind of Nile Rodgers kind of things. But personally, PeopleTube, if you're gonna ask Diva Dave what Diva Dave would like, he would get rid of the compressor. Well, if Diva Dave was a thing, he would just have this with a reverb dial. That's it. Happy as Larry. I'm already happy, but this would make Larry, you know. But I'm not going to cry about it. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, there's no reverb. You know, it's not the end of the world. So you can always run a reverb into the effects loop as well if you really wanted to. Like I said, I've just got it on the pedal. I've just got it on the pedal, so it's not really an issue. But I do feel maybe they kind of missed a trick with that one. You know, just having a good... The reverb inside the CR120 is fantastic. And I use it a lot, and I have used it a lot. Same as the Super Crush. I think the Super Crush's reverb is actually better than the CR120's reverb, but they're both fantastic. And I don't know if it would have taken them too far all the way just to have another dial for reverb, but I'm just being picky. That's me being picky. That's Picky Dave out the way. Like I said, my only I love these things, don't get me wrong, but the only confusement I have is the compressor dial. I get it, but I don't get it. But again, I've never really used the clean channel on Orange amps anyway. I don't really use clean channels. I always use overdrive channels, and that's why the Dual Baby is such a win for me, because both channels do distortion. They both kind of like go into that kind of thing, but they'll both do really, really clean, and I love that. Because to me, the Tall Baby could be a single channel, and so could the Game Baby. You could kind of get rid of the clean channel and just do everything from here and just have that. And that's exactly how I've always run my CR120 and the Super Crush. And my MG, to be honest with you. But a lot of my amps, I just run on the distortion channel and just turn the gain down. You know, and I just find that that's what works for me. And these are kind of no different to that. Anyway, that's enough waffle. So, first thing I'm going to do, PeopleTube, I'm going to show you the Dual Baby. Because they all take pedals like champs. They really do. They're just... The Orange have nailed it with these. I really cannot say enough good things. I really cannot. They're fantastic. Like I say, the compressor's a bit of a confusing thing. It's not a bad point. It's just a confusing thing. And the lack of reverb is a bit of a confusing thing as well. Not a bad point, but it is a bit confusing. Again, your thoughts, PeopleTube. Let me know. Comment section below. But they're amazing. And like I say, Orange are not getting these back. I'm keeping these. These are mine now. It's as simple as that. Like I say, if they want them, they know where I am. They can come and fight, but I'll be ready for them. It'll literally be like the Battle of Helm's Deep. But I'll be Aragorn, and they'll be orcs, because I'll win. And these will be... I was going to say these will be the ring, but that won't be very good, will it? Anyway, weird Lord of the Rings things aside, I love them. Orange, yes, mate. Yes, mate. So, first thing I'm going to do, PeopleTube, I'm going to show you the Dual Baby with my pedal board, with Mr. White, and let you hear how well this takes pedals, because it's ridiculous. Also, let me tell you how I've got it set up right now. So, Channel B, I used this for a gig recently, and it sounded immense. And I set Channel B up for my backup channel. If my pedal board died, I could flick the switch to Channel B, and I could just have distortion and just do everything from my guitar. But and Channel A is my pedal board channel. So I've got kind of the best of both worlds, and at a flick of a switch, I can do whatever I need to do. Built like tanks as well. That's another thing to mention, PeopleTube. As I flick that switch, these things are built like tanks. So let me tell you, I've got it set up. So I've got gain on 4, which is 11 o'clock. Volume at this point in time, master volume is at 9 o'clock. Presence is at 10 o'clock. No bass. Middle and treble are both at 2 o'clock. Orange amps, it's like my CR120. When I plug straight into an Orange amp, I tend to kind of like turn things down more. But with my pedal board, orange amps always seem really, really dark. It's why on my CR120 I run treble in the middle really high. And again, I never use bass though. I never use the bass style. But orange amps are one of those rare amps where I have to use the treble with my pedal board. And presence as well. And the EQ on these amps is fantastic. You got a sound in your head that you can get it out of these kind of things. They are quite heavy though. Bear that in mind. They are a heavy sound. So without further ado, people of YouTube, that's enough waffle. Let's make some noise. Pedal board first, then we'll plug straight in with a couple of different guitars and have some fun with the new baby range of orange amplifiers. They're 100 watt as well. How is that something that small that I can pretty much block out with my hand 100 watt? I love it. Okay, Pikachu, there you go. That's pedals. That's it. I'm sold. Yes. Hello, my mate. You're not going anywhere. Anyway, that just makes me very happy. Takes pedals so well. Like, the reverb you heard and delays, obviously, is all coming from a pedal board. The amp is just set totally clean. The first sound you heard is what the amp sounds like. Like, totally crystal clean. Nothing really going on there. So, Pikachu, what we're going to do now is I'm going to unplug the pedal board, whoop, like that, and we're just going to go straight in. We're just going to go straight in with Mr. White, and I'm going to show you all three of these amps. So we'll start with the Dual Baby. I'll show you kind of like channel A, channel B, then we'll move on to the Gain Baby, and we'll finish up with the Tour Baby. And then after we've done that, we'll come back to the Dual Baby, and we're going to try the DI out straight into the camera because, again, like I say, it's non-emulated, which is kind of weird actually. Because I like the reason Orange did this. This makes sense because people these days have IRs they love and use all the time. Orange didn't see the point in putting an IR in here that somebody's not going to like. You know, it makes sense for people to use their own. So that's actually very clever. But I really want to know what it sounds like without it, regardless. You know, does it actually work as a DI if you don't have IRs? Because IRs, to me, PeopleTube, are just like the mysteries of the universe. I don't understand any of that kind of thing because I'm thick, you know. So, you know, I want to know if I can just come straight out of this thing with an XLR, straight to, like, you know, my camera, live, mixing desk, whatever, and it'll still sound cool. So I don't have to have a mic on the cab or anything like that. So, anyway, enough waffle on that one. We'll talk about that later on. Now, like I say, we're going to go straight into the Jewel Baby first, and I'm going to show you that. These things are ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. Yeah, I really, really like it. I really like it. So, we're in. So, oh, I'm getting snagged. I'm getting snagged on my wah pedal. Coming closer, PeopleTube, let's get going. crikey, blimeys, Rileys, people of the tube. I hope these sounds are coming across okay. I've got to be honest, that it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. Like, oh my god. They just do everything. Like, doing everything I want. Let's put it that way. I'm actually sweating. I'm getting that carried away. I'm actually sweating. Whew. These are absolutely... These are masterpieces. Again, I'm not being funny. Yes, I miss reverb. But it's a weird thing. Once you're away playing with a sound you like, you don't... The only time I was like, oh, I wish I had reverb there, was when I was doing the slow bluesy kind of Peter Greeny thing. And I was like, oh, it'd be nice to turn the reverb up a bit, but there isn't any. Like I say, you could just run a pedal in the effects loop, or off, or into the front end like I do. But if you don't have that, say for instance your pedal board goes down and you don't have anything like that and you've got to go straight into it, it's going to be a very dry sound if the room's kind of dead, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? You're not gonna have a lot of reverb to play with. So yeah, that's a bit of a gosh darn it kind of thing. But the sounds are mega. You can go from like that really funky kind of clean Nile Rodgers kind of thing to kind of like John Frusciante dirty clean, Jimi Hendrix kind of blues, Ritchie Blackmore kind of distortion, King's X kind of distortion. I've been listening to a lot of King's X recently. I bet you couldn't tell, especially when I was playing through the Jewel Baby. It really reminded me of Ty Tabor's sound, and I know he uses the CL120, so but they just do. There's enough gain in them to stun a medium-sized insectivore at 50 yards, but they all sound different. I think they've all got different quirks. Like, the Tall Baby doesn't have as much gain as the Game Baby, obviously. But the Jewel Baby kind of like... I think it's still my favourite, but I love them all. Like I say, Orange just not getting these back. These are mine now. I'm sorry, Orange, you shouldn't have sent me them if you didn't want me to keep them. It's as simple as that. They're just tone machines. They really are. Like I say, they take clean so well. And I've got to say, I understand the compressor a lot more now. When I play through these amps, I very rarely ever use the clean channel. Since they've been with me, I've very rarely used the clean channel at all, because I just don't. You know, I'm very rarely plugged straight in. Invariably, I'm into my pedal board. You know, although I do love the way I've got channel B set on the Jewel Baby is a bit fierce. The Tour Baby just sounds like Ritchie Blackmore to me. It's that Burn era Ritchie Blackmore. Gain Baby is a little bit more kind of like. Well, I say this is kind of like a King's X kind of like distortion. The Tall Baby's kind of Ritchie Blackmore. The Gain Baby kind of does. Well, they all do everything. You know what I mean? You can do so much with them. Don't listen to me. I'm being an idiot because I'm hyper and carried away. What was I even going? Yeah, clean channel. Having the compressor cranked to the max really gives you that Nile Rodgers, John Frusciante, Blood Sugar Sex Magic kind of thing, and I was really enjoying that. Those kind of like funky kind of guitar things that I'm really naff at playing, but have fun with anyway. Like those kind of things are really great on the clean channel. And I had them set up exactly the same on the clean channel. Oh no, I didn't actually, I'll tell a lie. I've got the treble on 1 o'clock here and the treble at 12 o'clock here, and the bass is only on 1, so that's at 7 o'clock. And I've got the compressor cranked to the teeth. And it really gives you that kind of really poppy sound when you're digging into the guitar. It really kind of, I don't know, it's very inspiring. I like it a lot. And like I say, these things are not quiet, people with Tube. 100 watt. They can go quiet. You could definitely use these in the context of a home. I'll show you what I mean actually quick. So this is very loud. It'll peak the camera, but that's the point. But if I turn the volume off and then bring it in, I can talk over that. That's not an issue. Probably go even quieter than that. Yeah. It's almost like non-audible at that point, though. So you can turn them down. You know, you can also turn them up, and I have them. But they're monsters. They are absolute monsters. I love them. They are fantastic. Orange, you've nailed it. So, What we're going to do now, PeopleTube, is we're going to go back to the Jewel Baby here with my pedal board, and we're going to line out. So we're just going to take an XLR lead from the non-emulated line out in the back straight into the Zoom Q8 with my pedal board to see what it sounds like. I haven't done this yet. I've been saving it for the video. So I need to reset my settings back to what they were, which I don't remember because I took a picture. But I'll reset the amp back to, let me turn that one off. And the next thing you'll hear will be the Jewel Baby straight out into the camera. There's no messing around, no EQ. It'll sound like it sounds. If it sounds crap, it'll sound crap. If it sounds good, it'll sound good. So let's do that now. Okay, PeopleTube, so to me that's a big resounding no. You can't use this straight out without some kind of IR pedal or IR impulse response because that just sounded awful. It sounded really waspy and harsh and just really, just not good, not good. So sadly, no, you can't use that. So if you don't have IRs or anything like that, the DI on this kind of thing is kind of like not completely unusable, but kind of is. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you could EQ some of that out with a PA, with a desk and stuff like that, but there's no point. Stick a mic on it, you know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, so you need IRs. You definitely need an IR. I'm starting to think, could they have done it where they had the ability to have just a preset IR like they do on the Super Crush, like an open back, closed back cab thing, but have it so you could have it on or off. So you could have like just an IR from like, you know, the Super Crush's IR. The Super Crush's emulated out is amazing. Could they have had somehow done it so you had that and you could bypass it if you wanted to use your own? I think that maybe would have been a better choice, because now that's kind of like, you know, that's just a bit annoying, because I do like to DI amplifiers, and that's just basically means I can't DI this unless I have IR things. So it's kind of an annoyance. But does it detract from how good the amp is? No, because the amp itself sounds fantastic. And so you stick a mic in front of it, SM57 or whatever, and it just sounds amazing. God, your face, David. Anyway, people of the tube, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these new orange amps. I think they're fantastic and I love them. And like I say, they're not going back to orange. Sorry, orange. I'm ready for you. You know, I am ready for you. Bring it. These are mine now. Anyway, silliness aside, these are brilliant. They really are. I love them. I love the fact they're all different as well. That's really, really cool. I love the fact that they're not the same. I don't know how they've done that. That's quite spooky, because you would think these two kind of having the same kind of layout would be similar, but they're just not. They're different. And again, the Jewel Baby's different to these two. Out of all these three, if I could have one, it would be the Jewel Baby, definitely, because that's the one I'm getting on the most with. And I like the two channels exactly the same. Neither's clean, neither's dirty, you know what I mean? You kind of spoil for choice with it, to be honest with you. So the only thing that kind of bums me out, like I say, is that kind of the DI on the back. If you don't have an IR thing, is terrible. Sounds horrible, but it's going to, because it's kind of like, it's a direct signal. It reminds me of that Gary Moore album. Gary did an album where he recorded straight into a desk, like no amp, and it's really harsh. It's a very unique kind of sound, but it's not something I particularly like. and that's that sound. It sounds like you're straight into a desk with your pedals. And that'd be cool for recording. Don't get me wrong, but if you're recording, you might as well just plug your pedal board into a desk and have done with it. You know what I mean? You forfeit the amp, so to say. But yeah, people of YouTube, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You know, let me know the thoughts on the sound. Which one you prefer? Did you like the Tall Baby, the Gain Baby, or the Dual Baby? You know, which one was it and why? Let me know why. And also, what are your thoughts on the whole no reverb and also no ability? You know, you've got to have your own IRs, otherwise the DI sounds like a wasp in a jar that's very angry. You know, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Really interested to read your thoughts. And yeah. Again, massive thanks to Orange for sending me these for review. Really, really, really grateful to them for sending them. I'm having a lot of fun with them. They're great. I've used the Dual Baby for a gig. I asked if I was able to use it at a gig to see what they're like live. And they're great. They really are great live as well. That Dual Baby, it didn't leave me wanting, let's put it that way. And like I say, if worse came to worse, my pedal board went down, I could just like plug straight into the amp, hit the switch, and I've got more gain than I need, and I can just ride the volume control on the guitar to get different kind of levels of clean ups, I'd say. It's just really, really cool. I love the EQ section as well. The EQ section is ridiculously responsive. It gives you so much more tonal variety when you've got an EQ that works like this. It's a really active EQ. Great EQ. Well done, Orange. Absolutely spot on. Really is. I love it. I love the fact it's 4-band as well, so presence, bass, middle, treble. It's really, really cool. The switches are cool. The tubby switch, the tight switches. I kind of briefly went over them, but they do what they say on the tin. You know what I mean? They do what they do. Yeah, I like the fact on these two you have a separate volume as well for solo boost. You don't have that on the Dual Baby, but you know, I think the Dual Baby's made for people more using pedals, like I would. I think that's why I like this one more. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to let you get off, people of YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the videos I do on this channel, please consider becoming a patron at Patreon. Links to that in the description box below. It's what keeps this channel alive. It really is. Anything else to say? New Red Giant song coming next Friday, 25th of April, people of YouTube. Red Giant has a brand new song coming out. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. Really, really proud of it. There's a Eurofighter. I'm really proud of this song. Really proud of it. I love it. And I can't wait for you to hear it. And to see the music video as well. The music video was ridiculously epic. Anyway, that's coming out on the 25th. Other than that, thank you so much indeed. Again, big thanks to Orange. And yeah, I'll see you again very soon for another one. Again, thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Really, really always love reading your comments. See you later. Have a good morning, afternoon, good evening. Goodbye now. I'm going to turn this one back on and have a play on it again once I'm finished editing for the day. See you later. Goodbye.